There's really only one tried and true way to fix your anxiety long term. Now, as a therapist, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of good options out there, for example, medications. However, if you're looking for something natural and battle tested, this is the gold standard. Now, this approach is most beneficial when you're able to identify the specific fear, that anxiety that you're trying to work around to avoid the triggers and essentially keeps you locked in a sort of prison. So, the key here, whether it's OCD, generalized anxiety, or PTSD, is to actually face those fears and not avoid them. Now, even though avoidance works in the immediate for escaping that negative feeling, all it does is reinforce that fear cycle. And this act of facing our fears is known in mental health as exposure therapy. Even some of the most popular trauma therapies out there all have this element of exposure, where in a gradual, slow way, you are facing your fears, because this can be very destabilizing, and that's why it should be gradual, while paired with a bunch of coping skills to help calm your mind and body. For example, if a specific situation triggers you a level 9 out of 10, it's probably best to start with a 3 and work your way up. For example, if you're afraid of crowds, maybe just going to a coffee shop and then working your way up to that EDM festival. It's kind of like when you go swimming and you just jump in the water and it's a shock to the system, but pretty soon after your body gets used to it and you're like, hey, it's not so bad in here. When you face your fears, they lose their power. It's just like in the movie It, where the kids finally decide to face that evil clown and no longer give in to his scare tactics, and he just withers away. When you're run by your anxiety, it takes your world, shrinks it down, and makes it a much more restrictive place. So next time you're experiencing fear, actually let yourself lean into it, because it's going to take your world, expand it, and make you a much freer and happier person.